Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Keeping Score podcast presented by Corwin Motors. This week's highlights include another crosstown epic matchup, the wrestling divisionals come to an end, and much more basketball to cover as the swimming teams had the week off as they prepare for state. Let's get into this week's highlights. Thursday night's crosstown matchup in girls basketball was an instant classic as Glacier and Flathead went into overtime, featured multiple clutch shots, and emotions ran high in the rivalry matchup. Reece Ramey banked in a three-pointer to force overtime and hit another three just before the end of the extra frame to give the Glacier girls a 58-55 win over Flathead. Reece finished the game with 25 points, 12 of them coming in overtime with 8 assists and 12 steals on the evening. Sammy Gallagher put the Bravettes ahead 44-41, going 1 of 2 from the foul line, heading into the Glacier's final possession in regulation. Reece took the inbound and dribbled down the clock before taking a step-back three from straight away that caught glass before falling through, sending the Glacier fans that were in attendance into hysteria. Grace Gall led the Bravettes with 17 points, and Sammy finished the game with 12. Allie Kruger also reached double figures for the Wolfpack, scoring 11. The boys' matchup wasn't as close as the Wolfpack boys pulled away in the second half to sweep the crosstown matchup 60-49. The Pack had a balanced attack as 3 different players scored double digits, led by Cooper Pelk and Asher Konopik, both scoring 13 points apiece. Lyric Ursland finished the game with 12 for the Braves after scoring 35 in their last matchup, and Corbin Eden added 10 for the Braves. This was the only matchup for both teams this week. Moving on to wrestling, divisional started this week with Flathead and Glacier both having multiple champions. Flathead boys tied a school record with 26 wrestlers earning a berth in Billings out of 27 who competed, and the Bravettes added 17 on their way to a pair of team titles. The Brave Brawlers finished with 332.5 points ahead of Butte and Missoula Sentinel. 5 Braves brought home individual championships. Kellen Downing at 118 pounds, Diesel Thompson at 126, Hunter Arriaga at 132, Daniel Everett at 138, and Loki Bigras at 175. Bigras claimed the title over teammate Clifford Nance. Glacier finished 5th in the team standings with 155.5 points, but did see a trio of divisional champions. Jaron Coles at 150 downed Flathead's Dane Lake with a technical fall, and brother Nico Coles beat Brawlers Lane Shivers in a 7-3 decision. On the girls' side, 10 Bravettes reached the championship round, and 3 of them claimed titles. Juliet Cuerves defeated Flathead teammate Danica Hennel at 105. Kara Lackey picked up the win over Big Sky's Skatey Smith, and Aspen Smart down Riley Radcliffe of Butte. Glacier also saw 3 champions as Caitlin Spuler defeated Butte's Peyton Leva, Brooke Yeadon pinned Flathead's Lillian Lenote, and Cora Coles downed Flathead's Bella Downing. For Class A wrestling, Columbia Falls had 12 state qualifiers, led by divisional champs Browdy Crump and 157-pounder Dylan Delamore, who pinned Dylan's Tucker Crow in just 49 seconds in the final. 3 more Matt Cats were runners-up, Octavius Christensen at 126, Blaze Kronk and Winslow Peters both at 175. Whitefish lone wrestler Taylor Dorval won the 130-pound bracket. Bigfork's top finisher was Ava Larson, who was 4th at 100 pounds. Moving on to Class A hoops, Ali Shores scored 14 points, Yoli Krastev chipped in 11, and Whitefish Bulldogs rallied past Polson 46-43 in a Northwest A girls basketball game on Thursday. For the boys, Cooper Dudley scored 20 points, 8 of them coming in a 24-12 second quarter surge that carried Whitefish to a 58-48 win over Polson. Over at Bigfork, Alex Och hit 2 3-pointers and scored 15 points to lead 3 Bigfork players in double figures, and the Vikings crushed Libby 58-30 on Thursday. Chucker Hickey hit 2 3-pointers to lead the way with 12 points for the Vikings, and Austin Savick added 11, 9 of those points coming in the second half. Saturday, Jace Hill and Reggie Sapa scored 12 points apiece, and Columbia Falls rallied past upset-minded Bigfork 52-46. Grady Hutton and Bjorn Peterson added 7 points, with all of Hutton's points coming in the fourth quarter. The Wildcats outscored the Vikings 13-5 in the final frame. Bigfork girls continued rolling with the 60-17 win over Libby on Thursday. Braden Gunlock scored 20 points, and Peyton Gunlock hit 3 3-pointers on the way to 17 points as Bigfork cruised to the victory. Saturday, Braden Gunlock poured in 36 points, including 3 3-pointers in Bigfork's 75-49 win over Columbia Falls. Emily Alton led the Wildcats with 12 points. Annika Lawrence hit 2 over 3 3-pointers in the fourth quarter and finished the game with 10 overall. Friday night, Taryn Borgen scored 14 points, including 4 3-pointers, and Columbia Falls completed a home sweep of the Ronin Chiefs in a 50-40 win. Borgen was the only Wildcat to reach double digits, with Maddie Barker finishing with 9. Also on Friday, Bjorn Peterson scored 12 of his game-high 19 points in the first half, and the Columbia Falls Wildcats controlled the game for a win over Ronin 57-37. Cooper Ross scored 12 points for Columbia Falls, all of them coming from beyond the arc. As I mentioned before, no swimming this week as I get ready to prepare for state. So that is going to wrap up this week's highlights. I want to thank our sponsor, Corwin Motors, and be sure to tune in next week as both swimming and wrestling take the stage at state in what should be a very exciting week. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Josh Amick, and I'll see you all next week on another episode of the Keeping Score podcast. Thanks to Corwin Motors for sponsoring the Keeping Score podcast. At Corwin Motors, they're proud to be family-driven for over 100 years. Their commitment goes beyond selling cars. They're dedicated to serving our community and providing you with the highest quality vehicles to fit your lifestyle. Whether you're searching for reliability, style, or comfort, they got you covered. They understand that you rely on their website for accurate and up-to-date information, and it's their promise to deliver relevant, detailed content that meets your needs. So if you're in the market for a new Chevrolet or just want to learn more, visit CorwinMotorsKalispell.com.